Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here today. Today we're talking about a question that I think so many of us with bipolar disorder have asked ourselves at some point. Am I manic, hypomanic, or am I just happy and excited? And honestly, I think this question can feel so unfair because when you live with bipolar disorder, sometimes even joy and it can feel questionable, and you can have a good day, feel motivated, laugh more than usual, get excited about a new idea, feel hopeful about the future, and then suddenly that little voice creeps in and says, wait, is this normal happiness, or is this the beginning of an episode? And if you have ever had that thought, I want you to know that you are not alone. I've had moments where I have felt like I could not even fully enjoy being happy because I was scanning myself for symptoms. I would think, am I talking too fast? Am I sleeping enough? Am I making impulsive decisions? Am I about to crash? That is one of the exhausting parts of living with bipolar disorder. You are not just experiencing life, you're also monitoring your life. You're not just watching your moods, your energy and your sleep, your thoughts, your spending, your emotions, your relationships. You're also, it feels like you have to be your own detective, I guess you could say, just to feel safe inside your own mind. And I remember a season personally when I was finally starting to feel better after a really hard stretch. I had been depressed, anxious, isolated, and honestly just tired of finding my own brain. And then one day I woke up with energy, not just I can get through the day energy, but real energy. I wanted to run, I wanted to work on my business, I wanted to write, I wanted to make videos, I wanted to create content for MindFit Empowerment, I wanted to finally do all the things I had been just too exhausted to do. At first, it felt amazing. I remember thinking, there she is, I'm back. Have you ever felt that way? I went on a run with my dogs early in the morning, and for the first time in a while, my thoughts felt clear, the air felt good, my body felt strong, and I started thinking about my future, my business, my book, my course, my podcast. I felt this spark of hope. And for someone who has lived through dark seasons, that spark can feel like oxygen. But later that day, I noticed something. My thoughts were not just hopeful, they were racing. I was jumping from one idea to the next. I had 5 business ideas, 3 podcast topics, a plan to reorganize my whole house, and this sudden feeling like I was needed to do it all right now. I was talking faster, I was texting more, I was getting irritated when people interrupted my flow, and when bedtime came, I did not want to sleep. My body was tired, but my brain was lit up. That is when I had to pause and ask myself, is this joy or is this a warning sign? And I want to be clear that happiness is not the enemy, excitement is not the enemy, hope is not the enemy. Having bipolar disorder does not mean every good mood is dangerous. But this means we have to learn the difference between healthy excitement and mood elevation, then maybe moving toward hypomania or mania. So I think the best thing to do is to actually break this down. Happiness usually has flexibility. When you are happy or excited in a healthy way, you can still slow down, you can still listen, you can still sleep, you can still make thoughtful choices. You may feel energized, but you are not completely driven by the energy. You can enjoy the moment without feeling like you have to chase the moment. Hypomania often feels like acceleration. You may need less sleep and still feel wired. Your thoughts may move faster. You may talk more than usual. You may feel more unusually confident, productive, social, flirtatious, spiritual, creative, or restless. You may start spending more, making big plans, taking risks, or feeling like rules do not really apply to you. For some people, hypomania feels euphoric. For others, it feels irritable, agitated, anxious, or intense. That part is important because everyone experiences hypomania a little differently, and it's not always this happy, fun, creative high. Sometimes it feels like your nervous system is plugged into an outlet. Mania is more severe. We can talk about mania now. Mania can involve a major loss of judgment, risky behavior, little or no sleep, intense irritability or rage, grandiosity, paranoia, delusions, hallucinations, or psychosis. It can disrupt work, relationships, safety, finances, and reality itself. Mania is not just being productive or excited. Mania can be actually dangerous, and it deserves medical attention immediately. And then there are those mixed episodes, which I get all the time, and I personally think are some of the hardest to explain. A mixed episode can feel like a depression and acceleration happening at the same time. Your mood may be low, hopeless, or dark, but your body and brain feel agitated, restless, impulsive, or unable to be settled. It can be like someone is pressing the gas and the brakes at the same time. You are exhausted, but you cannot rest. You're depressed, but your thoughts are racing. You're overwhelmed, but you cannot stop moving internally. So how do we then tell the difference? One of the biggest clues is sleep, and we talk about sleep a lot because sleep is such a big part of bipolar. Ask yourself, am I sleeping normally? Am I needing less sleep but still feeling energized? Am I avoiding sleep because my brain feels like it's too alive? Am I waking up after a few hours ready to conquer the world? For me, sleep is one of the first warning lights on my dashboard. When my sleep starts getting shorter and I do not feel tired, I pay attention. That does not mean I panic, but I do take it seriously. Another clue is speed. So, are my thoughts moving faster than normal? Am I interrupting people? Am I talking more than normal? Am I jumping from idea to idea? Am I making decisions faster than I normally would? Another clue is impulsivity. Am I spending more money than I plan to spend? Am I suddenly wanting to make major life changes? Am I texting more people than I normally would text? Am I oversharing? Am I making commitments I may not be able to keep? The next clue is irritability. This one gets missed because we often associate mania or hypomania with the feeling of amazing, right? But for many people, elevated mood does not feel like joy. It feels like agitation. It feels like everyone is moving too slow. It feels like your skin is too tight and your patience is gone. Another clue is intensity would be another one. So healthy happiness usually feels grounded. Hypomania or mania often feels urgent. It says, do it now, say it now, buy it now, post it now, change your life right now. That urgency is something I had to learn to respect. One thing that has helped me is asking, can this wait 24 hours? If I have a big idea, can I write it down and wait? If I want to buy something, can I leave it in the cart? If I want to send a long emotional message, can I save it in my notes first? If I want to make a big commitment, can I talk it through with someone I trust? That pause of 24 hours has saved me more times than I can count. Another thing that helps is tracking patterns, not just moments. So, one excited afternoon does not automatically mean hypomania. But if that excitement comes with 3 nights of less sleep, racing thoughts, impulsive decisions, irritability, and feeling unstoppable, then that pattern matters. That's why mood tracking can be so powerful. Not because we need one more thing to obsess over, but because it gives us information. It helps us see what is actually happening instead of guessing, right, from fear. So I also think we need to talk about the grief underneath this question. So one last little thing here that I think we need to talk through. Because sometimes asking, am I manic or just happy, is not just a clinical question, it's also an emotional one. It can feel heartbreaking to not trust your own happiness. You may think, why can't I just be excited like everybody else? Why do I have to analyze every good mood? Why does joy actually come with a question mark? If that's you, I want you to hear me clearly. You are allowed to feel joy. You're allowed to be excited. You're allowed to have dreams, goals, love, laughter, motivation, creativity, and hope. Bipolar disorder does not take away your right to happiness. It just asks us to build our wisdom around our happiness. And wisdom does not mean fear. Wisdom means awareness. Let me repeat that. Wisdom does not mean fear. Wisdom means awareness. It means learning your early warning signs. It means knowing your sleep patterns. It means having people in your life who can lovingly say, hey, I notice you seem a little more activated than usual. It means working with your doctor or therapist, or instead of trying to figure everything out alone. It means building routines that help protect your life that you're working so hard to actually create. For me, that has looked like learning that my stability is not built on one dramatic moment. It's built on small, repeated choices. Taking my medication as prescribed, getting sleep, running, but not using exercise to outrun my emotions, eating enough, even when my eating disorder voice wants to take over, going to therapy, letting safe people in, paying attention to when my body says something is shifting, and also letting myself enjoy the good days, because we need those too. So if you are wondering today, am I manic, hypomanic, or just happy? Here are a few grounding questions to ask yourself. Am I sleeping normally? Are my thoughts racing, or are they just clear? Do I feel peaceful excitement or urgent pressure? Am I making decisions that align with my values? Would I still think this is a good idea if I wait until tomorrow? Am I more irritable, impulsive, restless than usual? Have people close to me noticed a change? Do I feel in control of the energy, or does the energy feel in control of me? And most importantly, do I need support right now? If you are not sure, that is a good time to reach out to your psychiatrist, therapist, or someone you trust. You do not have to wait until things are falling apart to ask for help. Early support is not failure. And if you are in a place where you are not sleeping, feeling out of control, experiencing psychosis, having thoughts of harming yourself, or making unsafe choices, please seek immediate help. Call your doctor, contact a crisis line, go to the ER, or tell someone you trust right away. You matter too much to handle that alone. So as we close today, I want to leave you with this. Not every high is mania. Not every smile is a symptom. Not every dream is dangerous. But your patterns matter. Your sleep matters. Your insight matters. Your support system matters. You can learn to enjoy happiness while still protecting your stability. You can learn the difference between joy that grounds you and energy that pulls you away from yourself. And you can build a life where bipolar disorder is part of your story, but it does not get to write the whole thing. Thank you so much for your listening today. If this episode has helped you feel seen, understood, or a little less alone, I would love it if you subscribe to the podcast, or if you're on my YouTube channel, so you do not miss future episodes. And if you know someone who lives with bipolar disorder or loves this, who might help someone with this episode, with them, it might be exactly what they need to hear today. So a loved one might be helpful for them. Until next time, keep choosing awareness, keep choosing support, and keep believing that stability is actually possible, because it is. You deserve happiness. You deserve a life that's fulfilling. Until next time, be empowered. Thanks for listening today.